All right, guys, Unit 8, Lesson 5. Students will be able to solve area problems with obtuse angles. Yesterday, we did acute angles, and we did right triangles, and today we're doing obtuse triangles. What do those look like? So, we noticed that acute triangles had angles that were less than 90 degrees. This one has angles that are greater than 90 degrees, or an angle that's greater than 90 degrees, okay? So you can also look that up on Khan Academy or mathisfun.com so you can figure out the difference between those three types of triangles. The triangle below is an obtuse triangle. Given what you have learned about measuring the area of triangles over the last two lessons, come up with two strategies for measuring the area of the triangle below. So think about yesterday's or lesson 4's, okay? So we came up with two methods towards figuring out the area of the triangles. So method 1 was simply using the formula, which is the area is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. Then we write down what's given to us. So the area is not given, is the base given, and is the height given. Let's go ahead and check them out. So if we combine these two bases, we'll have 16. So I'm gonna say that 16 is our base, and our height, remember, from the base to the top, not slanted, which means these two, unnecessary. I'm gonna put NN for not needed, and the height is 4, okay? So let's go ahead and use our substitution. So the base, we agreed that the base is 16 and the height is 4. So now I can rewrite this. That makes it 64, and half of 64 is 32 square units. And that was the first method. The second method was we had split the two triangles up. We split them in two, and we figured out each area, and then we added those together. So I'm gonna put, can I just put M2 for method 2? And I'm gonna say that A is equal to 1/2. I'm gonna put B1, and you all know why. That's the base of the first triangle, and H1 is the height of the first triangle, plus the base of the second, the height of the second times 1/2. That's the formula we'll be using because we're adding the areas of the two triangles. If you want to know what that looks like, look at the left triangle. Let's separate it. The height is 4, the base is 8, plus the second triangle, which is, it looks like a mirror image. It's just facing the other way. So these areas will be the exact same, okay? So now let's go ahead and figure out what's given. Always indicate what's given, guys, always. The area is what's needed. The base, or B1, is 8. The height, or H1, is 4. B2 is also 8, and H2 is also 4. So now I just have to do my substitution. We have a lot of space, so just make sure you're careful as to how you will use your space. 1/2 times 8 times 4 plus the same exact thing. So let's go ahead and make sure we take our time. 8 times 4 is 32. Same thing here. Half of 32 is 16, and half of 32 is 16. So it looks like our second method also works. So as you can see, we can do the exact same thing that we did yesterday. We're taking our original triangle, area of a triangle formula, and we're using it for an obtuse triangle. The previous lesson, we used it for an acute triangle, and now we're using it for an obtuse triangle. So we can go ahead and figure out the conjecture for today. Similarly to the previous lessons, the area formula for a right triangle applies to obtuse triangles. And remember, if you need to figure out what the obtuse triangles are, just go ahead and look on Khan Academy or mathisfun.com and type in the triangle that you're looking for. Okay, so you can make those comparisons. Now let's go ahead and test this conjecture. Now observe the picture, guys. This might take some work. They said, what is the area of the triangle below? Let's go ahead and figure out what we can do here, because I'm sure we can use two methods. I'm gonna put M1 for method one. Remember, method one is just simply using the area formula, which is one that we wanna maintain at all times. Okay, so let's see. What are we given? Not the area, because that's what we're looking for. Are we given a base? Are we given a height? Now, some of you may be confused as to how this triangle looks. So what I would do is, I will flip the triangle, because the base is actually up here. Weird, right? Let me go ahead and flip this triangle so it can be easier for me to see. It's about right there, right there. So now that I flipped it over, I noticed that the height is 4. This measurement is 3, and this measurement is 4. Now they gave us a 5, but the 5 is not needed because that's not a height and it's not a base. So let's go ahead and figure out what we need to do here. All right, guys, so we're given that the base is 3 plus 4, which is 7, okay? Our height is going to be 4. You guys got that? So now we can go ahead and do our substitution. A is equal to 1/2 times the base, which is 7, times the height, which is 4. So A is equal to 1/2 times 28. So half of 28 is 14. That's 14 meters squared. Now, don't forget, we got to use method 2 as well, because they're going to ask you to come up with 2 different methods to figure this out. So let's go ahead and do M2. And that formula is going to be when we separate the triangles and we add their areas together. Some of you might want to label your separate triangles as A and B. I'm just labeling them as 1 and 2. So given we don't know the area, the first base is, we can call that one 3. The first height, which should be the same as any other height, is going to be 4. The second base is going to be 4, and the height, which doesn't change, is going to be 4 as well. Now we do our substitution. A is equal to 1/2. Be very careful here. 3 times 4 plus 1/2, 4 times 4. And we can simply take our time to figure it out. 1/2 times 12 plus 1/2 times 16. Half of 12 is 6, and half of 16 is 8. So the area is 14 meters squared. So we just proved that the conjecture is true because we were able to apply the formula from 2 lessons ago to an obtuse triangle. We figured out the area of it and we're all set. If you follow this method and you practice this, you will have absolutely no problem with this packet today. Simply take your time, work smart, guys, work smart.